Gemini, this is your week ahead astrology forecast by Astrology Motivation. In these weekly readings, I review the major planetary aspects and transits, and I let you know how they are aspecting your natal sun and what that means for your day-to-day. This is for the week of August 10th through the 16th of 2023. And all you need to understand this message, this reading, is, this forecast, is to know your birth date. That's it. That's all you need to know. I will translate everything else for you. I'm going to start off really broad with the big stuff, the stuff that's going on right now, the current chart. And then I am going to break things down into Gemini specific energy. And then I will break everything down into the 3 decans of Gemini. So I know how all the other planets and transits and aspects are aspecting your natal sun. So let's get into the reading. We're going to start off really big with the big stuff. There's no major transits this week, though there is a major occurrence. We do have a new moon. Now, new moon is quite beautiful. It's in Leo. It's on August 16th, early in the morning, average of 4 a.m. in the United States. Sort of ranges from 2 all the way to, if you're not including Hawaii, 2 all the way into 5 or 6 a.m. throughout the United States. So it's beautiful for many reasons. One, this new moon is conjunct to Venus in retrograde, because it's all happening in Leo. It's happening at 23 degrees Leo. So Venus is going to be at 18 degrees at that point. It's within a 5-degree orb of this new moon. So it is absolutely conjunct this new moon. This new moon is also square to Uranus and trine to Chiron. This speaks of a lot of healing the heart and being willing to make changes and being attracted to things that are different, because you don't want to continue to repeat past mistakes that have hurt you, right? Uranus square to the Sun conjunct Venus is very much claiming your independence, asserting your own independence and your own sense of personal beauty and value, right? And you want to change things up. And a lot of times that can be very rebellious, but with Chiron in the mix, it's telling me that there's education behind it. There is a conscious choice because you've learned the hard way. And this conjunction to Venus is so romantic. The day before, on August 15th, the moon perfectly conjuncts Venus before it perfectly conjuncts the sun. So there is this sort of extended energy. And while the moon is conjuncting Venus, Venus is still conjunct to the sun. So ultimately there is this beautiful extended period of loveliness for welcoming love, new value, new worth, new happiness and optimism into your life. It could also stimulate this sense of optimism when it comes to change, being able to finally see the light at the end of the tunnel. Now, another thing that's going on this week makes all this energy challenging, because Mercury and Mars are going to be conjunct in Virgo. Now, normally that conjunction would be great. That's all about taking action through intellect, through communication, through exchange of information, or through learning and education. That's phenomenal energy. But it's in opposition to Neptune, which means that there can be misinformation. There can be being misinformed, especially since Mercury, not necessarily Mars at the time, but Mercury is still trine to Jupiter, which means there's just this overabundance of information, or over-exaggerated information, with the fact that Neptune is in opposition to Mars, over-exaggerated fantastical information that is trying to distract people, that is trying to incite something. And with this rebellious energy coming from the opposition, the Leo-Venus energy square to Uranus, trying to Chiron, is the only, I think, redeeming part about it that could keep us grounded enough to say, we know better now. So either we're going to be fighting the fantasy, or we're going to be falling for it. Either way, there could be some major clash when it comes to global. The sun is square to Jupiter through the 12th, which also in the beginning of the week gives us more of this energy toward, I want to grow. I want to grow now. I want to grow fast. And it could frustrate us if we're not growing fast enough, which could be another catalyst. Okay. That's just the global stuff. Let's go into Gemini specific energy. I got my notes here, guys. You know, if I don't write it down, I don't understand it myself. What I look for Gemini specific energy is two things. It's ruling dignitary, Mercury. What is Mercury doing? What's going on? Because your ruling dignitary, whether it's Pluto or Mercury or the moon or the sun, what's happening to it will sort of sprinkle and season your entire existence. So always know where it is. Mercury is currently in Virgo. It's going to travel between 14 and 19 degrees Virgo. That's only a 5-degree travel throughout the week. And that's slow for Mercury. That's because Mercury is slowing down. Another major thing that's happening is Mercury is in shadow period for its retrograde that will begin on August 23rd. What does shadow period mean? It means it's slowing down. And that can already start tripping things up when it comes to communication, or your phone not working right, or your tire popping. In fact, often shadow periods, you know, it's almost like when you're putting on the brakes versus when the brakes are already on, can actually cause more, you know, chaos. So we need to know that. What's happening in Gemini, the zodiac sign. So I look at what's happening with your ruling dignitary and what's happening with Gemini. Within the zodiac sign itself. Nothing. The moon is going to be there for a couple of days before the new moon, right? But generally speaking, it is, it's not, it doesn't have anything there, no major planets, no major asteroids, no major luminaries, nada. So what is Mercury doing? Okay. What is Mercury doing? Mercury is, like I said, moving between 14 degrees and 19 degrees Virgo, which is a very cozy spot for it because that is one of its ruling domiciles. But it's also conjunct to Mars, which is revving up and amping up its energy and helping it find its desire to move forward, to push forward. It's finding its sort of walk-in legs, and it's intensifying everything when it comes to, I want this done correctly. I want to put it into order. It's almost like organizing on crack, that kind of energy. It's like the Container Store, right? It's this sense of anything is possible and getting it done. So this actually is really good energy, productive energy, except by the 10th or 11th, there is that opposition to a Neptune that is starting to form between Mars and Neptune, and by the end of the week, by the 16th, definitely by Mercury and Neptune too. This is deception. It's personal, it's delusion, it's illusion, it's somebody selling you tonic water as medicine and you falling for it. That's that kind of energy. It's corrupted information that is corrupted by fantasy. It is like the shadow puppet. It is like convincing people to attack and waste their energy attacking this shadow monster, when in reality somebody's just messing with you in order to distract you. So ultimately, we have to watch out for not being able to see clearly or being led too easily into deceptive information, taking action on information that isn't real, that is fantastical. This is something that we really have to be wary of. And how do we understand that? With Neptune, the only way you can ever know where it really is using your psychic energy and psychic abilities and going within. That's the only frickin' way it's going to tell you the truth, because information can be really messed with right now. Just an FYI. We also have that trine to Jupiter between Mercury and Jupiter all week long. And this is sort of, your brain expanding in every different direction at once, or wanting to learn about foreign policy and foreign relations, and being really comfortable with different foreign languages is a great interaction between these two. So this could be really interesting, like foreign information, or just too much information and a lot of information coming at the same time. Learning too much too quickly and not being able to distinguish very clearly what is real and what is not, when you're conjunct to Mars, can lead to major mistakes happening. especially with the fact that Mercury is slowing down. That might help us a little bit, but Mercury retrogrades also bring their own challenges. So this is sort of like a watch yourself and don't make any impulsive decisions. And then we have a quincunx to Chiron. Mercury is quincunx to Chiron, which also means that it's being pushed or stimulated like a spur in its side to take action to make up for a hurtful past. And that could be making it more impulsive than it needs to be right now. So all of that could end up being a very difficult, impulsive, and reactionary situation where you're not thinking clearly. I'm just letting you know, FYI. So let's break things down into the decans of Gemini. So what is a decan? A decan is a group of 10 degrees, and every zodiac sign has 3 of them because every zodiac sign is a total of 30 degrees. It's total of 30 degrees because there are 12 zodiac signs that sit on one big wheel, and a wheel is a circle, and a circle is a total of 360 degrees. Make no shame at all by having to get out the calculator. I promise you it all works out, and it's actually pretty simple to comprehend. If you look at it, you'll understand it a lot better. But anyway, so there are 3 groups of 10. Now, these aren't real things. These are things astrologers use. The decans are sort of tools for astrologers to break things down into those sections of 10 degrees so that we know what aspect is really being formed where. And it helps us discern better what aspect is impacting a certain group of natal suns. So, if you know that your natal sun is located between 0 and 9 degrees Gemini, it is in the first decan of Gemini. So you are Gemini 1s. This correlates to June Geminis. May Geminis. So if you were born between May 22nd and the 31st of May, you are Gemini 1s. There's not a lot happening for Gemini 1s this week, except that long-term square to Saturn, which means like I fought the law and the law won. That kind of energy of batting heads or finding challenges when it comes to feeling really restricted and really like laid out by the law and legal, the law, the risk, like maybe a tough authority figure, like clashing with authority in general, or with people not taking you seriously enough and always sort of trying to lord over you. Now this is for this whole freaking year, so it's been happening for a while, and Saturn is in retrograde too, so it goes a little bit inward now, so you could be taking things a little bit more personally, though it's not as extroverted, it's not as external right now, but ultimately this does provide a certain set of challenges, especially with your career. If you've been finding you having trouble growing in your career or trouble being respected, this is because it is a challenging aspect to your natal sun. Aside from that, it's really only on the 9th, which is before this week begins, but it would be on the 9th that your natal suns were conjunct the moon, making things a little bit more comprehensive as to who you are and what you really, really want out of life. Let's move on to Gemini 2s. So Gemini 2s, if you know that your natal sun is between 10 and 19 degrees Gemini, you are Gemini 2s. This correlates to birthdays between the 1st of June and the 10th of June. So your natal suns are in a long-term sextile to Chiron, which means you are absolutely being inspired by and finding ways to improve your life and the life of others based on the struggles you've had. It is a very heroic stance to take, especially with Chiron and Aries, and it could mean that you're finding ways to repair, opportunities to heal, even your physical self. That is over the next year. Through the 12th of this week, your natal suns are sextile to the current sun, which will bring an uptick in confidence and courage and even vitality and optimism. You will be easily seen, easily charm the pants off people, and this is a great time to take advantage of those kind of opportunities and that level of confidence. It's a beautiful time to date. It's a beautiful time to interview. Whatever you're doing, it's a time to shine. We also have a sextile to Venus by the 14th, which is beautiful energy because it's optimistic and it's graceful and it's just so romantic and joie de vivre. Like this week is a week of loving life for you and definitely being very romantic, seeing your romance life open up. It's a great time to date. If you're not with somebody, it's a great time to, kind of get a makeover and take opportunities to improve the aesthetic or improve your finances. All of this is very optimistic and beautiful opportunity for you this week around being valued, being found attractive, being noticed, being paid attention to. Beautiful, beautiful energy. Gemini 3s. If you know that your natal sun is between 20 and 29 degrees Gemini, then you are a Gemini 3. This correlates to Gemini birthdays between the 11th and the 21st, or up through the 22nd of June. So if you are 22nd, but usually the 22nd is Cancer, but sometimes the sun is still in Gemini when you're born, and it's also the 22nd. So it would be you guys too. It definitely Cancer cuspers, which are 21st, 20th, 21st, 22nd. Absolutely. You are Gemini 3s. Your natal suns are going to be conjunct the moon on the 11th of this week. So there is that sense of wholeness and completeness that will come to you, emotional stability and understanding and acceptance on the 11th. It's your natal suns that are sextile to the new moon. This is a beautiful new energy, which means it's probably for you that you are the most powerful right now. That you are the most powerful during that new moon, and you must use this to manifest in money, manifest in love, manifest in people desiring you and you being valued. Take all that in, clear out space for it, and get ready, because there is a beautiful opportunity coming for you between the 15th and the 16th of this week. Your natal suns are sextile to Venus through the 14th and sextile to the sun by the 13th. This is all that means. Even leading up to this new moon, there is fantastic energy impacting your natal suns. It is optimistic, it is glamorous, it is beautiful, it is flamboyant, it is confident, it is competent, and it is optimistic and courageous. This is a beautiful week to get noticed, be valued, find new love, secure your old love, like really revitalize yourself. You also have a square to Mercury. Square to Mercury means that things could be a little messed up when it comes to communication. What I would say is this is not the best time to sign important paperwork. It's definitely, you want to wait till next week to sort of shore that up. You want to review things and you want to learn things right now. You don't necessarily want to pull the trigger on committing right now. Also, it implies that there could be some confusion when it comes to what you've learned versus what other people say. So it may be spurring you on to dig a little bit deeper into the information that you get this week. Learn a little bit more about it. And definitely don't take any important tests or sign any important paperwork when your natal sun is square to Mercury, especially when Mercury is as compromised as it is right now with the whole Neptunian interaction and the whole shadow period. Now, a sextile to Chiron is a long-term aspect that your natal suns are experiencing. Will continue to experience it through the rest of this year if you are born around the 11th or 12th. So only those of you born at the very beginning of the third decan, the 11th, 12th of June, would be impacted really yet by the sextile to Chiron. But once again, that's about being inspired to improve your life and the life situations of other people because of what you've gone through. So this is a time for optimism and progress for you. I love you guys. I hope this is comprehensive to you. Please leave your comments below. I would love to know how you're experiencing this energy. And then definitely come on over to Born Without Boundaries Tarot for your week ahead tarot card reading. And don't forget to subscribe over here. I love you, and I'll talk to you next week.